Hey guys, welcome back to another video of our Talking to a series. Today we're going to be talking to Dante. We're with our normal staff here. We got Declan, Odysseus or Sigma, myself, Cooper, and Luke. And today we're joined,
accompanied by a very special guest.
Big 7, I just been right on the highway.
Pittsburgh University commit, draft recruit, Mason Lagenza.
Thanks for the invitation.
Luke, you want to take us away?
All right, so it's a very interesting book, I should say. Dante starts off by he gets mad at like his empire, and they kind of kick him out, and he takes a trek into the dark woods, where he starts writing about his love of his life, Beatrice. Mind you, Beatrice, well, how old was she at the time? 9?
Very young.
She was like
Very
5 or something.
She was young.
Extremely young.
Yeah, very young.
Said to be on, he might have been on some illegal substances. We don't know, but
Yeah.
you know, might have altered his mind a little bit during.
Our buddy Stan's just like that.
Yep.
First period.
Staggerwell, first period.
First period.
No,
Let's give him a
Staggerwell.
0.
Yep.
All
Back
right.
on top.
Anyway, he goes in the woods, and he's very, like, off of something. And he encounters 3 animals, the she-wolf, the lion, and the leopard. And they kind of chase him out of there until he meets this random dude in the woods, which I don't understand why you just go with a random dude, named Virgil. And he kind of tells him that he's going to guide him on these layers of hell. And he takes him down, each layer. There's 9 of them. Oh, you right over there? All right, look, slip out. Anyway, he goes on these adventures of the 9 layers of hell. Starting from 1 to 9, it gets progressively worse as you go down each level, and each time they go down, Dante kind of appears to get more scared, and like he doesn't understand like what's going on. So we'll start off with Circle 1, Limbo. Circle 1, Limbo.
We're actually going to start off with the vestibule.
The vestibule.
Anyone want to take us away on the vestibule?
So these people, they're not in hell, but they're not in heaven. They're in between. They could go to heaven if they start doing things right. They're not there because they didn't step up in the situations where they should have. So now they're eternally stung by bees, like a nagging that they should have made the right choice in the instance or situation that they're in.
It's like a kid getting bullied for his lunch money, and you're just standing there watching, doing nothing about it. That's those people.
Yep. 6-7 Mason Lagenza would step in.
Okay.
Or when Sigma farts and it lingers.
Somebody had already farted and it's still lingering.
Okay,
I didn't want to say anything about our special
You
guest.
could
but
think of it as a modern day purgatory. But yes, we can carry on to Circle 1.
Circle 1 begins, it's called Limbo. It's filled with virtuous
Pagans!
and unbaptized souls. These souls did not commit personal sins, but were either unbaptized or lived before Christianity, and thus cannot attain salvation. There is no physical torment for these people, but eternal sorrow from separation from God is what they suffer. Circle 2 is the lustful, those who allow their passions and desires to overpower reason and morality. These souls are swept in a violent eternal storm. Is this the one where they're all crunching together in the wind?
Yeah.
Tornado, they're hitting each other because they couldn't resist.
They couldn't help themselves in real life, so now
They're all just crunching into each other.
banging into each other. No pun intended.
Yeah, these souls will never find rest as they're constantly being
Banged.
banged.
Banging, yeah.
Banged into each other.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a real life example of someone who would be in Circle 2?
Tiger Woods on her wall.
Yep.
Tiger Woods was less.
Shout out Matt Veck.
Yeah,
From Period 8.
The pimp.
Some could say Odysseus as well. Couldn't stop banging.
This one.
no.
Odysseus himself.
This one right here.
The one
Okay,
from the
circle
Odyssey.
3.
Circle 3. All right, now we get into the gluttons, where people took stuff like food or drinking, and they loved it more than they loved themselves. So the people, sorry to say this, but they were very fat.
I'd compare him to modern Americans. You know, with their
Very
Absolutely.
portion
Yeah.
sizes.
All their fast food and
Yeah,
stuff.
very obese.
These guys live in their own putrid slush while being rained on by cold, heavy
Frozen.
showers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
frozen.
it is not fun to be there, and I guarantee it stinks like Noah Staggerall.
I agree.
Stinky stank.
If you know them,
You know him,
IYKYK.
Yep.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
and I know.
That's
Too
what we
much.
all do.
All right, let's make our way down to Circle 4.
Yep.
That is the greed, where the wasters and the hoarders are all there. The wasters being the ones who waste all their money, the hoarders being who won't even
Spend it.
spend any of their money.
Yep.
And they're always pushing a boulder at each other and then just keep
Do they have
recurring
weights?
and doing it. And they
They
have
have-
weights chained to them,
yeah,
being
weights.
weighing down. So,
Yep.
definitely not a fun place to
Yeah.
be. Very tiring, I feel.
Just constantly going back. Is this the one where they're yelling back and forth at each other
Yes.
too, the whole time?
Yeah. You know, Brad Whalen, 9th period, he's a big hoarder. You should see all the boxes of tasty cakes in his locker.
That's true. Doesn't share.
Doesn't share either. He yells at me in period 2 when I try to take some.
But he also cannot keep any money in Monopoly Poker.
Monopoly poker.
So he's
Bank
kind of
is
on both
empty.
sides.
He's
of it, too.
he's in the middle.
Yeah,
He is the boulder getting pushed around
Yeah.
from side to side.
definitely. Yep. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to Circle 5 here. Odysseus is gonna take us through it. All right, Odysseus.
Circle 5, the wrathful and sullen. In this circle, these souls are consumed under the water of the Styx. In this circle, they fight each other in the water as their punishment. The sullen are here because of their uncontrolled anger that ruled their lives. The sullen who harbored resentment and silence lie beneath the water, gurgling in the mud, unable to express themselves.
You know, now that I think about it, that's a terrible punishment. You're just gonna get drowned and gargle on mud.
Like, gargle on
And then the
something
angry
better,
people
dude.
just stomp on top of your heads, pushing you under.
Yeah.
Like, can't get much worse than that. But we got a lot more circles to go. So
We have some
This
more
is-
harsh
This
punishments.
is middle of the line right
yeah,
here.
this is me middle of the pack. So keep it going.
It's only
I
gonna
like
get
that,
worse
though.
from now on.
Keep rolling.
Come on, Crown.
Yep, that's all right.
Going down is Circle 6, the heretics.
Harry, what?
In this circle, the souls that are here denied key religions. Any religion basically besides Christianity. So even if you followed all aspects of your religion, as long as you were not Christian, you will not go to heaven. Which, comparatively to the rest of the world, is quite a slim majority.
Johnson. Oh,
So not many people were able to go to heaven due to this circle.
Yeah, so I mean, Dante had some very contradictory sins here. I mean, basically what Sigmund just said, or Odysseus, like if you're following, you're very devout to your religion, and if it's not Christianity,
Yeah.
see you later, bud. You're going here.
you're
Circle
in hell,
6.
so-
Hinduism's big.
yeah,
But what was the
Judaism.
punishment?
Judaism, like
This punishment was the burning tombs, right?
Yeah, they were put in fiery tombs and sealed shut.
Yeah,
That's
right. That's a bad way to go out.
Yeah.
just because you didn't follow the same religion.
Firework.
Yeah,
Katy Perry.
you basically are a firework.
basically.
So moving on to
Yep. All right, so Circle 7 is all to do about violence. It's reserved for those who committed, like I said, acts of violence against either yourself, others, or God. There's 3 different kind of subcircles there: murders and war makers. They were submerged in the boiling river of blood. That's also sounds very terrible to be.
Ooh,
in.
tell him.
Yep. And in that areas, the centaurs patrol the banks of the blood river, shoot arrows at any of the sinners that try to get out. The next one, yep, shoot it. Violence against yourself, so that'd be suicide. Those who took their own lives are transformed. All right. Into those that killed themselves are transformed into thorny trees in the wood of the suicides. And they're tormented by tearing of their branches.
Oh, by the half-bird half
we
humans.
we did that today.
Oh, what are they called?
Yep.
What are they called?
Harpies.
Harpies.
Yeah.
Something
Yep.
like that.
And then finally, violence against God, nature, art, blasphemy kind of lies on burning sand under a rain of fire. That probably sounds like the worst. I mean, raining fire. And
Don't know how that works.
Yep. They sit in agony or purses, bearing their family. Watch their family hanging from their necks, symbolizing their greed. So I mean, that's kind of a terrible circle to be in. Either if you killed someone, you have a terrible punishment. If you just talk bad against God, you have a terrible punishment. And then if you did the worst and did to yourself and killed yourself, you're in for a bad one too. So moving on to circle 8, this one kind of has a lot to do with it. This is the fraudulent.
Oh, keep it going.
Yep. This one's broken down into 10 different kind of subcircles, and I'll just go through them really quick. So one is the seducers and panderers. So they're whipped by demons for manipulating others. That also sounds terrible. Flatterers, drowned in filth. Shout out Stan.
Smells like filth.
Okay. We got simoniacs. Then move on to diviners and sorcerers. Their heads are twisted backwards so they can never see ahead.
That's disgusting.
Think about it, if you fart, you're gonna smell your own fart right away.
Okay. Yep. Always going there.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Moving on to corrupt politicians. Might be for after the podcast. Too.
Might
But
get
we'll
that
keep it.
offer.
Bonus segment with Stan.
Might throw
But
in
it's just smelling his armpits.
Might not make it.
corrupt politicians. They're boiled in pitch while demons stab them. Terrible way to go. Then we move on to hypocrites. Wear heavy gilded lead cloaks. Doesn't seem terrible, but you know. Then we
It's
go.
heavy.
Yep, it's heavy. Thieves attacked by serpents that steal their human forms. I mean, I think you could have it could be worse, but it's still bad. False counselors, sowers of discord. And then lastly, we got falsifiers. So, I mean, all the like people that try to act like they're different than what they are. They're afflicted with diseases, symbolizing any of the corruption that they spread while they're in their human form. So, I mean, those are kind of a lot, and those are kind of bad ways to live the rest of your time in hell. But we're going to move on to circle 9.
Treachery.
Lucan.
So in circle 9, this is the last layer of hell. This is where you're gonna find Hades. He's frozen in the center of the lake, where he's a 3-headed creature gnawing on 3 people: Judas, Brutus, and Cassius.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. But in this circle, Dante and Virgil actually climb up Hades to like get a better look at what's going on, and they'll see like Hades is always flapping his wings to keep the lake frozen, so no one can escape. But at the end, they need to get out of there because it's time to get out of hell. So they actually have to climb down Hades and work their way out of hell. But in this, it's basically the last layer is a frozen lake where it's the worst you can be at, and you're frozen in the lake, and if you try escaping, Hades is gonna munch on you, pretty much. But
Satan himself's imprisoned here, isn't he?
yes,
I believe he is.
but Dante and Virgil actually end up getting out of there and escaping and making it back to the real world, and that is where the book ends, and Dante moves on to his next epic poem.
On psychedelics or some.
Yeah. Shout out Virgil for being a great,
Great tour guide.
this whole time. Yeah, great tour guide. I mean,
Is bro the pimp?
Virgil.
He could be.
yeah,
Yeah.
some might say.
I mean, without him, Dante wasn't getting in.
Yeah.
Nope,
For real.
he wasn't getting a pass.
There was a couple levels that Virgil had a sweet talk.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So now that we read the book,
Let's get a recap.
let's get a recap. I mean, what's your thoughts on the book, Mr.
Thoughts?
Joe?
Can you curse
Special guest Joe.
Can you curse it out? Can you,
No.
Yes.
I give it an F.
4.
Not as good as the Odyssey.
Not as good as the Odyssey, but it was not as bad as the book. I'm saying. My
It's not as
favorite
bad
is
as
the Odyssey.
Hamlet's gonna be.
No,
Yeah.
Not looking forward to that.
not looking
Not a
forward.
Shakespeare
But
guy. You
I'm
guys,
really not a Shakespeare guy.
you guys fans of Shakespeare?
Can't say that I am. No.
No.
After that presentation we had on him,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my liking for him just dropped.
If it could even drop any lower,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Top-
still, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm
Yeah,
sure he's
yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mr. Genson?
You know, reading this book, half the time, I'm gonna be honest, didn't really know what was going on. Had to read the footnotes. Shout out footnotes.
Shout out Miss Scuba for telling us.
Oh, shout out Miss Scuba. Explained it wonderfully. Of course.
Oh.
But going through these different circles, Dante's kind of a sicko. Kind of putting these people, some people, you know, the thieves and, you know, the murderers type stuff, they kind of belong where they belong. But, I mean, I think if you just follow a different religion and you're a good person, and even in Circle 1, if you didn't, if you were just unbaptized, I don't think you deserve to be in hell. That's kind of brutal, but I know we go back to, you know, might have been on the shrooms a little bit. So I think overall it was I'll give it an eh. We'll give it just a eh. Yeah, we'll give it an eh read.
It's like middle
Like
line.
I would, yeah,
Like
I
a 2
would,
boom.
I would give it.
yeah,
2.5 boom.
Yeah,
Like,
2.5 booms.
Yo, you want to show
Can
him
you
what a
show him?
2.5 boom looks like?
No, that.
Boom.
Half.
That was the half.
We need 2.5.
That was one.
Okay, you ready?
Just give a full boom.
Boom.
Yeah, that's what I would give it. I mean, I would recommend it to people that are interested in this type of stuff. Others, I might warn them, but it was a decent read.
Mr. Odysseus Sigma.
Being that I did read the book end to end, page to page, word for word, every word, I do agree with these guys.
Forward and backwards.
Forward and backwards.
You can read it in
Upside
reverse.
down.
Upside down, yeah.
Hanging from the monkey bars he's reading it.
Yep.
That I was.
In
I
squat
do-
rack.
I do have to agree that this book was nowhere near as good as other books, especially the Odyssey. And I feel that throughout the book, Dante was just on a power trip. He got to make his own rules, say what he believed, not what might have been widespread
You know what would have
or
been better?
otherwise.
If Dante suffered each and every single one
Yeah.
of these
Yes,
while he went
and
through
he
them.
deserves
He
it
kind of
too.
seemed like an entitled
Little
person.
brat.
Just
Yeah,
throwing
like a
it
rat.
out
And he
there.
gets to put who he wants in there.
like a Lake Hotto kid.
I mean, it all started
Gated
with
community, walk through whatever you want. No,
on his golf cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it all started. He was kind of lazy. That's why
Yeah.
That's why he was mad in the beginning. But
chasing women.
Yeah.
Man, that really sounds like someone I know.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't put a finger on it.
Finger on it.
So,
Cooper, how about you?
Any thoughts?
I mean, like they basically covered it all. I believe it was an okay book. Obviously, nothing's topping the Odyssey. Mr. George,
I do have to be honest. After watching the first episode, I had to go and read the Odyssey. I mean,
and
we don't
come
really.
and join in.
Yeah, we didn't really cover it in my 8th period, but after watching this first episode, I just had to go back and read it.
Yeah.
And it was a great read.
Mr. Kane,
I mean, it was an alright read. Got a little excited. We started watching Thug Notes at the beginning, and you
Really
see
did love the Thug Notes.
Thug
Yes.
Notes were
Yes.
good, and you see all this stuff happen, and you think it's gonna be an interesting book, but kind of underwhelming. I mean, like they said, nothing tops the Odyssey. I mean, Odysseus himself made a home. Love to see that, but
Yes, I did.
no, it was an alright read. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but definitely recommend the Odyssey.
I think
But-
some of the action and violence kind of made it.
Yeah.
better. It kind of like sparked it a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
But poems too. Yeah.
Yeah, not a big poem.
not for me.
Not a
Yeah.
big poem there.
All right. One last thing before we wrap this up.
maybe.
Battle. The battle of the. What was your favorite character or monster throughout the levels?
Mine would be the Minotaur.
The Minotaur.
Yes.
Joe. Mason.
Cerberus. I mean, 3-headed dog.
Gnawing on.
Yeah, just gnawing on anyone who tried to get out. Yeah, anyone try to escape. That's just a terrible, like, vicious type of monster. But
He's a beast.
Mine definitely had to be Minos.
I'm gonna go with Cerberus.
Also Cerberus. Like
Okay.
Cerberus. Cerberus kind of looks like Odysseus over here. A little bulldog, fierce, ready to attack.
Imagine him with 3 heads.
Yeah, like that's what Cerberus looked like in real life.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of Talkin Tua. Talkin Dante. Great
Great book.
group of guys we had here.
Great group of guys.
Shout out Miss Scuba for having us read this book. Again, it was all right, but nothing tops
You
the
gotta do what
Odyssey.
you gotta do.
Yeah. Job's finished.
May have to tune in next time for a Hamlet poem when we have Mr. Odysseus himself dressing up in a dress.
Yes.
I will definitely be back for that.
Talking to Hamlet.
Talking
Next
to Hamlet.
time. See you guys.
Catch you next time.
Peace.